I was young, I wanted to understand how these people fought their wars. I wanted to understand how Ehud made that dagger and concealed it on his body. And it said because he had an impediment in his right hand. Do you know what that meant? He was deformed. He was deformed. And I grew up in a society where if they spot you with genetic testing in the womb to have a genetic abnormality, or if you might have a precursor indicator for Down syndromes, they murder you in the womb, right? Ehud would have been one of those people that got murdered and cut down because he was deficient in an area with his right hand. But you know what? Yahuwah raised him up, a wounded warrior, a man who was handicapped according to the world and should not be fit for battle. He used that guy to go and sneakily get his way into the king's chamber and stab that king, who is very fat, by the way, full of toxins, because the kings used to eat the white pastries. They used to eat the sifted flour. It says in the book of Proverbs, you're warned to not go after the delicate pastries of the kings. He says, put a knife to your throat if you're a man given to appetite when you sit down to eat with the kings, because they had servants who used to sift out the bran and the germ, and they ate the white, soft, fluffy, powdery deliciousness, and they got fat from doing it. And so you know what Ehud did? He ran that sword all the way through up to the hilt, and it disappeared inside the guy. That story captivated me. And then he ran out of that building and he blew a shofar, y'all. This is a shofar. This comes from a creature that is one of the most marvelous creatures ever in the face of the earth. And you know what he did? He blew a shofar. Same thing that those guys did with Gideon. Same thing that they brought the walls of Jericho, which were full of a bunch of slaughtered dead babies that had been entombed in the walls of Jericho. They brought it down with that tool. And you know what? Ehud's most dangerous weapon was the shofar, because he sounded an alarm. He sounded an alarm, and he let everybody know that the king was dead. Now was the time to strike, because the enemy would be in disarray. The enemy's camp got filled with fear because they had convictions coming out of the camp of Israel from one damaged, wounded, looked over, has been washed out soldier. One man rose up. One man conquered the kingdom of fear because he had courage and convictions to go with the word of Yah and obey the command. And he dismantled that empire. And then he called his brothers in arms with that shofar, and they destroyed their enemies and delivered the people peace.